All right, got a question. Yo tengo una pregunta para Gemini. All right, so I went ahead and asked Gemini, how do family dynamics relate to the three-body problem? They be considered analogous. For example, in a three-body system, the celestial objects orbits become unstable over time, but in a family system, two parents are able to cohabitate fine, typically until there's a child born. Then the system becomes unstable, and if one does not leave or adjust or, one's not modified, forgot to add that in there. For example, if one does not leave eventually, for example, the child upon turning 18, reaching adulthood and self sufficiency, the system will experience turmoil and instability, requiring that one or more individuals in the system be removed for the system to survive, or it will ultimately falter and fail. Essentially, just as celestial bodies cannot contain a three-body relationship, maybe humans and families cannot sustain relationships beyond a certain number due to inconsistencies in ideology, age, energy levels, health, motivation, knowledge, and experience, etc., etc., etc. All right, Gemini felt like responding with bum bum bum. That's a very creative analogy, but family dynamics do not relate to the three-body problem in a scientific or analogous way. While the analogy is thought-provoking, the two systems operate under entirely different principles. The family unit is a social and psychological system, while the three-body problem is a precise mathematical and physical problem governed by the laws of gravity. Cool. So pretty much I have no idea what I'm talking about. At least regarding the three body problem. I'm still figuring that out. It just seemed like a cool concept. There's a show called The Three Body Problem. I need to rewatch that. That was actually kind of interesting. Anyway, the three body problem. The three body problem is a challenge in classical mechanics to predict the motion of three celestial bodies interacting with each other through gravity. As you noted, the system is fundamentally unstable. The gravitational forces are constantly changing as the bodies move, making it impossible to find a general, stable solution for their orbit. Oh, English, come on. Making it impossible to find a general, stable solution for their orbits. This is a problem of physics and mathematics where the interactions are predictable and precise, even if the long term outcome is chaotic. Family systems. Family dynamics are governed by social and psychological principles, not physics. The instability you describe is a metaphor, not a literal physical force. The turmoil in a family with a child isn't due to a mathematical instability, but rather a shift in roles, responsibilities, and emotional relationships. The birth of a child introduces new complexities, stressors, and emotional demands that change the parent parent relationship. The child leaving the system isn't a physical escape from an unstable orbit and is a natural developmental stage for a person to gain independence. Why the analogy fails. Aw, wah, wah, wah. The core reason the analogy doesn't work is that the forces at play are completely different. Predictability. The forces in the three body problem, gravity, are constant and predictable. The forces in a family, such as emotions, ideologies, or personalities, are fluid, subjective, and change over time. Fundamental laws. The three body problem is a consequence of Newtonian physics. Family dynamics are not governed by universal physical laws, but by social constructs, psychology, and personal choices. Solutions. The solution, quote unquote, solution to a three body problem is a mathematical prediction of motion, which is often chaotic. The solution to family turmoil involves communication, therapy, compromise, and personal growth. A family can sustain many members and remain stable through cooperation and adaptation. In short, while it's tempting to use an elegant physical concept as a metaphor for social complexity, the two fields are entirely separate. The instability of a family with a child is a psychological and social phenomenon, not a physical one. Awesome. All right, we found out something new. So, not a direct analogy, but still interesting. We gleaned a lot of information there. So, that was pretty cool. Pretty cool.